Hi, this is going to be a lesson on a John Fahey song, his version of I'll See You in My Dreams. The tuning for the song is standard tuning, so E, A, D, G, B, E. I'll go through the song once and then get into the lesson. Okay, so the song starts with, I need to trim this, but the song starts with a walk down from the C chord, the 1 chord, since it's in the key of C, 3rd fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 1st fret of the 2nd string. So this is the 1 chord, and it's just a walk down into the 4 chord. So that first little bit has an alternating bass on the 5th and 4th strings. And on the treble side, you pluck the 1st fret of that 2nd string and then play it open, and then with your pinky you can play the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. Alright, so when you put that all together, it's like this. So it's off the beat here, pinch here, and then off the beat. Alright, and then you'll walk into that 4 chord. So you'll fret this with a wrap of your thumb around the neck onto the 1st fret of the 6th string, and then you'll fret the 3rd fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 1st fret of the 2nd string, and now all you'll do is on the treble side go like this. 1st fret of that 2nd string, 3rd fret, open top string, and back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So it'll be, and I guess you'll also play that 2nd fret of the 3rd string, so it'll be. So I'm just doing it as all pinches, so you can just do it as all pinches. Pinch, pinch, or you can throw in some offbeats. So you can experiment with it on the beat or slightly before or slightly after. So on the beat, slightly before, or that was slightly after. after. Anyways, you kind of get the point. You can kind of shift it around there. So altogether, that's... For simplicity's sake, those are all on the beat. And now it's into the next chord, which is a B flat 7. And you fret that by going across the top 5 strings, first fret, and at the 3rd frets of the 4th string and 3rd and 2nd string. Alright. And here it'll be an alternating bass between the 5th and 4th strings. And really the only treble note that you've got to pick is the 3rd fret of that 2nd string, because that's the note in the melody. So you can just try that for now, just cycling through that. Alright, now here's another thing you can try in addition to playing the notes, the melody notes on the beat or slightly off the beat, is you can also do these pickup notes by plucking the string below. If you use 2 fingers on the treble side alongside your thumb, then you can use your pointer finger to kind of pick up into your 2nd finger. And what I mean by that is you can go like this. Notice? It plucks the 3rd string as a pickup and then lands into that note that you intend to hit. So that's another way you can vary it around. Okay, so that's the next thing. That's the next chord. So it's C, F, and then to the B flat. So there, the melody note is only this. I'll see you in my dreams. But you can kind of play a little fill. And so that's a simple thing you can do, is actually using that pickup. You're just going back and forth between the 3rd and 2nd strings. And then you just go back to that C chord, where it's again alternating bass on the 5th and 4th strings. And then you just strum up on the top strings, and then you fret the 3rd fret of the 1st string to hit the melody notes. And then after that you'll move into this chord. But so far it's... there, that was slightly off the beat instead of... You can kind of change it up. Here's the next chord. It's a diminished chord. You'll fret the top 4 strings of the 4th fret as a bar, and then you'll add in the 5th frets of the 3rd and 1st strings, and here you'll only deal with these top 4 strings and play an alternating bass on the 4th and 3rd strings, and on the treble side you'll just hit the top notes of the chord And then you'll come up to the 7th fret of the top string, and that'll be it. When I'm playing this, and throughout the song, because there are so many chord changes, which is really the challenge of the song, because you've mentally got to know what chord is coming up next and position your hand almost as you're entering it. And that just takes practice. But in this case, the more you practice it, the more your hand will kind of sink and mold into the positions that you've got to mold into as your mind knows what chord is coming next. In this case, your hand might do things like kind of tilt this way so that you can make these reaches. In another way, you'll find common notes between the chords. For example, going back to that F chord, your 3rd and pinky fingers are fretting the 3rd frets of the 4th and 2nd string. Once you hit that treble note, 3rd frets of the 4th and 2nd strings, which happen to actually be the notes that you've got to fret on the B flat 7. So you notice these things can stay these fingers can stay stationary, and that helps with some of these transitions. So those are the sorts of things that you'll realize after you're kind of sitting with the song for a while. So far, E flat, and then you've got the diminished, and then here's a special chord, which only deals with a bar on the top 4th string's 5th fret. So again, common notes. You're already hitting that bar on the 4th fret on this diminished chord. So all you need to do is just slide it up. You don't even need to lift your finger. Just slide it right in. And you'll be plucking only the 4th string and top 2 strings. I'm not even gonna call out the notes here, because it'll just be probably better if you just hear the pattern. That's the pattern, again. That's another one that you can kind of cycle through to get comfortable with it. So again, from here, and that's what it is so far. And you'll notice that sometimes I'll add in some of these other, even though the melody is just that. You can just, again, as before, there were these pickup notes. You can also add in notes after and just combine the string below. And use the string below as the note that you just rhythmically use for a note to come after the melody note. It's just a way to kind of fill in some of that rhythm. Now again, the next chord uses some commonality as well. It's a bar on the top 4 string, 2nd fret, with an open 5th string, alternating bass on the 5th and 4th strings. But again, you've got that common thing, so it's been used a few times now. Using that bar, then again, using that bar, and then again using the bar. So off of that alternating bass in the bar, you'll just hit the 5th fret of the top string. And on the treble side, you're just going like this. 5th fret of the top string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 4th fret, 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and then up to the 3rd fret of the top string. And try and hold the notes if you can. And then you'll kind of go back and forth between that 5th fret of the 2nd string and the 3rd fret of the top string. Again, just for simplicity, most of those notes are right on the beat as pinches. But then you can just try mixing it up with some off the beat. And that's the next part, and the next chord to finish off this first chorus is just this D7 to the G7. So that'll be actually a weird way of hitting the chord. It's the 2nd fret of the bottom string, and you'll play an alternating bass on the 2nd fret of the bottom string with your thumb here, and then hit the 4th string open, and then fret the 2nd fret of the 3rd string and 1st fret of the 2nd string. This is actually a nice chord to know because he uses it quite a bit. Something like he'll do. In this case, he's just coming up from here. So on the treble side it's just this, open top string, into that 2nd fret of the 3rd, open 2nd string to the 1st fret, there, and combine that with the alternating bass. Again, you first try it all on the beat. Then try playing them all off the beat. The G chord to finish off this first chorus, 3rd fret of the 3rd fret of the 6th string, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, alternating bass on the 6th and 4th strings, open top string to hit it to start off, and you just go back and forth top string, 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then, keeping with this G alternating bass, you do that same bass descending run. pinches. Again, it's the first fret of the second, open, third fret of the third string. Try them all as pinches. So again, from the D7, all as pinches, all as pinches. Camera got interrupted there, but starting from that D7, you can try them all as pinches. And then mix it up. Here it's all the same. And here it's different. So from here, you've got some common notes with the previous chords. So you were previously playing this. And then you just keep that same bar but add in the 6th frets of the 3rd and 1st strings. And you'll just be playing that alternating bass on the 4th and 3rd strings. And then you'll, on the treble side, pluck the top note of the chord. And then lift that top note that you've fretted on the chord so it leaves the bar. And then fret the 8th fret of the 2nd string. And then just go 2nd string into the bar. And that's what you've got there. Mix them up as on the beat and off the beat. And then you've got this E chord. But before going into that, I just want to mention one more thing here. Because you will have to, at some point, combine it with the part before. And I'm just going to mention this as an afterthought, so feel free to ignore what I'm about to say. But you can actually hit that top note that you've got to hit, that top first note, as a hammer-on using the final strums of the previous chord. It's a little bit tricky to do because you're hammering into that 6th fret of the top string. Right as you hit the 4th string bass note. Actually, you hit that 4th string bass note even slightly before. Why am I doing that? I think it's because it actually makes it a little bit easier once you can wrap your brain around that hammer-on. Because it's one less note that you've got to think about hitting when you're changing chords. See, if you pluck it, it sounds a little rough. Whereas if you hammer into it, it sounds a little smoother. So that's something that you can try. And try to hit that set up yourself by hitting that 4th string and then hammer it. And then come down to that E chord. Quick couple chords. This will be an E chord fretted with the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 1st fret of the 3rd string. And you'll just omit the 5th string. I'm just muting it by touching it with the tip of my middle finger. Alternating bass on the 6th and 4th strings. And you'll just strum up on the top note and stretch up to the 4th fret of the 2nd string. It's only for a moment, and then you'll retreat down to the 3rd fret. And again, you can just try it at first, all on the beat. And then try hitting those last 2 notes off the beat. And then you'll land into an A minor, 2nd frets of the 4th and 3rd strings, 1st fret of the 2nd string, open 5th string and top string. Alternating bass on the 5th and 4th strings, and strum up on the 2nd string. And then you'll continue that descending note line on the treble side, because you'll lift up and hit the 2nd string open, and then hit the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and then go into the 4 chord, F, to the G, and you'll just be hitting that 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and top strings open, and then land into the C. And notice, all throughout that, I'm just really, you can think of it as just taking the simple melody notes all on the beat, but then you can twist and turn it. And adding some embellishments like hitting pickup notes. Adding some notes after. That are just available. And hitting some notes off the beat, etc. And that's how you can kind of start to create this sort of more intricate sound. Alright? And that's pretty much the entire song. Although I will mention at the very end, he sometimes adds in that little bass embellishment. So on that C chord, rather than just hitting the 3rd fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string, he'll play 5th, 4th string, 6th string, 4th string. And just finish it like that. And that's really the entire song. I will mention, as you're trying to practice this, there are a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to transitioning the chords, because there are just so many chords to think about. And you've kind of got to always be thinking about the next chord that's coming, and just mentally prepare for it. And that'll help your fingers to position themselves ahead of time so that you can kind of use that split-second gap to fret the next chord. But it is tough because you've got, for example, from this C chord, you're going to this diminished chord, but then the alternating bass notes change. Here you're playing them on the 5th and 4th strings, then you're hitting them on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. So that can cause a little bit of indecision for your thumb as it tries to figure out what string to do next. And in those situations, just cycling through the chords at a slow tempo, where you can kind of comprehend and think, okay, I'm going from the 5th and 4th strings to the 4th and 3rd strings, and there is a tempo that's slow enough that you won't really buff any notes as you're trying to get there. And then as you can sort of piece everything together in slow time, you can start to pick up the tempo and hit the notes. So that's one thing that I'll mention. And then of course you've got to do that, treat each kind of chord segment as sort of like different linkages, and then you've got to work at each linkage. So then you've got that figured out, then you've got to go from here to this, and know that you've got to hit that picking pattern. Then you work at this one. And you just know, okay, I've got to bring this down to the 2nd fret. I'm no longer hitting that pattern, I'm hitting a bass note, alternating bass line on the 5th and 4th strings, and then I've got to hit that 5th fret of the top string. So it's all this knowing what's coming up next and just practicing it really slow, and eventually you'll get it. So